more about the human body. This is Body Garage. My name is Tracy Mukami. As always, we are here to inform you about the systems of the body and how they work and how to make yours work better. Now, last week we were talking to Dr. Hussein Baga, who is the consultant physician and nephrologist here at MP Hospital. That conversation continues today, and we want to learn more about kidney transplant. Who is eligible for kidney transplant? What is required? Are these processes available in Kenya as well? And we're still here with Dr. Ria. Doc, something that really struck me by surprise when I was talking to Jason, one of your patients who we spoke to last week, is the fact that he has 3 kidneys now. I always thought, I don't know, I always imagined when you have a kidney transplant, the kidneys that do not work are removed and then you get your new kidney. How does that work?
Well, the kidneys, his old kidneys are not functioning, and we normally do not tend to remove them unless if there is a medical indication to remove them. Like, for example, if the kidney is very big, the old kidneys become very big because of cysts, what you call polycystic kidney disease, or if there is bleeding within the kidney or it has become infected, that's the only time we remove the kidney. Otherwise, what we tend to do is that we put the new kidney in a totally different position. It's put in the anterior abdomen. The natural kidneys are basically more posterior, more at the back. So we normally don't tend to remove the old kidneys, and we just allow the new kidney to just function normally with the old kidneys in the background, because old kidneys are not functioning in any way, so they're just there.
All right. Maybe you can take us through the process of kidney transplant, from when you start seeing a patient to actually when they get a new kidney. What is involved?
So what happens is, once when a patient comes to see me and he has got what is called end-stage kidney disease that is requiring some form of renal replacement therapy, which is dialysis, or he has not yet reached the stage of dialysis but he is in end-stage kidney disease, we start talking to them about a kidney transplant from that time, because it has a lot of facets to it. One is, of course, there's a financial aspect to it. A patient has to be ready financially, because the cost of a kidney transplant ranges between 1.6 million Kenyan shillings to 1.9 million Kenyan shillings. This is here at MP Hospital. This is just the cost of the surgery itself and the hospital stay for both the transplant and the recipient, and all the drugs they get during that period of 10 days. After that, there's also the aspect of the drug that they're going to be using for the rest of their lives, what we call the immunosuppressant drugs or the anti-rejection medication, because remember that the new kidney is foreign to the body, and the body will try to get rid of it, and reject it, as we call it. So they need to be on medications for the rest of their lives to prevent the body from rejecting the kidney as well. The third aspect to it is that they need to get a suitable donor. Now, in Kenya, we only do related living donor transplants. So it's either your family member who can donate to you, or an emotionally related donors like a spouse who can donate to you. So we do not currently do unrelated living donors, because there's no legislation so far that is governing the unrelated, and they can, of course, be it can be misused if it's allowed to be done. So it's we always advise our patients to come in with at least more than one potential donor, because sometimes we do tend to find that the potential donor that they've come with is not suitable, either because of certain medical conditions that the donor themselves have, or they're not compatible in terms of the blood groups, or even when it comes to the cross match, and it is not compatible as well. So once when we have gotten a suitable donor, and we also assess the recipient is also suitable for a transplant as well, because the surgery is quite intensive for the recipient as well. So we need to make sure that they are safe during the surgery. We need to make sure that the donor is also safe during the surgery and after that as well. After the surgery, they don't develop kidney failure as well, because now they'll be living on one kidney as well. So we need to protect the donor as well. So once when we have done all of that, and we have accepted that yes, both the recipient and the donor are suitable, and there's no coercion on the part of the donor as well that has been coerced to donate the kidney, and they are both healthy and we know that the surgery will be uncomplicated, then they go ahead and we admit them in the hospital. The recipient is admitted 3 days before, the donor is admitted a day before the surgery. The surgery is done and the donor is discharged on average 3 days after the surgery, if everything goes well, and the recipient goes home 7 days after the surgery.
All right, let's talk about, you mentioned the donor, and the importance of ensuring that they are actually up to the task of donating a kidney. What would disqualify someone who wants to donate their kidney from actually donating?
So, number one, of course, if they already have kidney disease themselves, then we do not accept them as donors, because remember, as I said, that it's not fair for us to remove a kidney from a donor and give it to a recipient, and then the donor then tends to get end-stage kidney disease as well. So our first priority at that point in time is, of course, to protect the donor. Number two, if they have medical conditions like diabetes, diabetes is a complete no, because diabetes is one of the strongest risk factors for developing chronic kidney disease. If they have uncontrolled high blood pressure as well, so we don't allow patients who have uncontrolled high blood pressure to donate kidneys. If they have morbid obesity, because obesity also tends to patients with obesity tend to develop chronic kidney disease as well, and patients who are obese tend to develop complications during the surgery and after the surgery as well. So those are some of the things that we tend to look at, and those are the things that can disqualify a donor from donating the kidney.
Okay. When a recipient of a kidney goes through the process of actually getting a kidney, you mentioned that they need to be on medication for the rest of their lives. What happens in the event they do not follow through with the medication as they are required to?
So if they do not follow through, of course the body will reject the kidney, and if that happens, then it becomes very sad, because now to salvage the kidney back, it's even more expensive, because the treatments that we do, the investigations that we'll do are quite expensive, and we have had patients who do tend to reject the kidneys. The strongest cause of the rejection is basically non-compliance to medications. So here at MP Shah, and I believe in many of the other facilities, we always work as a team. There's a transplant team. In our transplant team, we have 2 nephrologists who see the patients, who counsel the patients as well, both the recipient and the donor. We try to inform them repeatedly that yes, this is going to be for life, the medications. Even though you won't be on dialysis, but you have to take medications. And the cost of the medications for the first 1 month, for the first 1 year, every month is around 40,000 shillings every month. Then after that, in the second year, it's around 30,000. And from the third year onwards, it can be anywhere between 20 and 25,000 shillings per month. Yes. So it is, of course, much better than dialysis. And now, if you look at it, the dialysis sessions per month, we do, NHIF caters for 8 dialysis sessions in a month. Now, each dialysis session is 9,500 shillings that NHIF pays for, reimburses. Now, in a month, NHIF reimburses 76,000 shillings for every patient. So if NHIF were to reimburse for the drugs, they would be saving 36,000 shillings every month for the first 1 year, which is more cost effective, according to me, for these patients. So I would really urge for our government and for our National Hospital Insurance Fund to start thinking about how they can reimburse for these drugs. It's very important, because there's a direct cost saving that we do, and then there's also the indirect cost saving as well, because now the patients who are on dialysis are now free and they're able to get back to work, and they contribute to the taxes and the GDP of the country as well. So to me, it's a win-win situation for all of us.
Kuna hizi story zimekaa za wanaume wananyonga.
Dignity should always be dressed with decorum.
You should realize that the joy of the game is not inside.
And this week on the Garden of Eden,
Kitu yako ni kubwa. Na unamwangalia hivi umejidharau, and then you say, no, it's not small. It's only that my sitting room is big, but you are coming with a stool.
we tell you how to keep the cookie jar clean, neat and sleek.
People think CG fruits, pineapples. Everyone has their own. Everyone has their own natural smell.
Tune in this Wednesday from 10 p.m.
Get ready for Kenya's greatest concert ever to celebrate our country at this time of crisis and fear. One stage, 30 artists, on Saturday the 29th of August at 8 p.m. at All Saints Cathedral. Kenya Ni Yetu, a concert of hope and victory. Sponsored by Stanbic Bank and supported by the Media Owners Association, because we care for Kenya. The show will be live on yetulive.com, Kiss TV, Citizen TV, K24, NTV, KTN, KBC, Switch TV, Cast TV, and TV47. Supported by Hot 96, Capital FM, Radio 44, Three Stones Media, and Family Media. Remember, it's this Saturday, 29th August at 8 p.m. Join us.
Welcome to the exciting world of M-Truck Solutions, your trusted provider for bulk SMSs. We also offer API integrations for all your communication and payment needs. We also provide you with tailor-made payment getaway solution to receive and disperse cash quickly, affordable and securely. Let us expand your reach and connectivity on USSD, SMS and voice today. Call us on 0723 030 030 or email hello@mtruck.limited.co.ke. For more details, visit our website www.mtrucklimited.co.ke.
This August on TV47, we unlock your unlimited entertainment.
Just one night.
Ranging from Adventure Monday,
Not all good.
Horrific Tuesday, Wednesday Romance, TBT Thursday,
Expert Enlightenment.
Action Friday Saturday,
Solomon Lane escaped in Paris.
and Family Sun.
One night.
Do bears even have names? My name is...
Make a date with us every day at 10 p.m.
It sounds like you're a big proponent, for kidney transplants, yes?
Yes.
Are you still doing this during the COVID-19 era?
So during the COVID-19 era, unfortunately, we had to put a stop to the kidney transplants, and all over Kenya as well, we recommended through our organization, the Kenya Renal Association, to put a stop to it, because as I said before, patients are going to be on very heavy immunosuppression to make sure that the body does not reject the new kidney. Now, because of that, they are immunocompromised, and if they get any infection, especially something like a viral infection like COVID, which is prevalent, quite prevalent right now in our setup, it would be catastrophic for these patients. So we're trying to come up with protocols and standards of procedures and policies as to how facilities who are doing transplants can get back to doing transplants as well. And even here at MP Shah Hospital, we're working towards that with our administration and our CEO and the medical director as well, so that it becomes very safe for our patients. Remember, our first priority is to make sure that we do no harm. If somebody is stable on dialysis, I would advise that as long as your doctor recommends for you not to get transplanted, just listen to your doctor, listen to your consultant, so that they know when would be the best time to restart the the transplant process.
All right. Now that you're a physician, yeah, and you deal with matters broadly, and we've mentioned COVID-19, yeah, maybe it would be good for us to understand why and how COVID-19 really affects diabetes patients, yeah, because we actually have seen instances where the government has come out to say diabetes and COVID-19, these are issues that are very strongly correlated, and I don't know.
So there are two ways to look at it. Remember that patients who have got diabetes are immunosuppressed as well. So their immunity is not as robust as somebody who is not diabetic. So for these patients, it becomes very easy for them to contract any disease, infectious disease. Like, I mean, I've had a couple of patients who came in before even the COVID era, they came in with TB. They come in with severe pneumonia. So when we test them for diabetes, now that's the first time they're actually diagnosed to have diabetes as well. So that's one aspect of it. So the pneumonias in diabetic patients are more severe. They're at a higher risk of contracting the pneumonias than a normal person, because remember that for a normal person, the immunity might be able to protect them. But for those patients with diabetes, sometimes because of the lower immunity, they can contract the disease more easily. And number two, it gets more severe as well in these patients. So they have a higher risk of developing a more severe disease and of ending up in the intensive care units. And of course, the mortality is also a bit higher as well. That's one aspect to it. Number two, the receptors for the COVID are also found on the pancreatic cells as well. So the COVID can directly attack the pancreatic beta cells as well. And it can lead to patients developing high blood sugars. Now we don't know whether they will end up developing diabetes or not, but depending on how much the pancreas is damaged, they can develop diabetes, which will be lifelong for them as well. Yes.
Doc, a lot of Kenyans, yeah, when they get broke, they want to sell their kidneys. Do you buy kidneys?
Well, categorically, the answer is a big no. And a lot of Kenyans have called the hospital, they have called other nephrologists as well, and they have volunteered to sell their kidneys. Even some of media personalities have also come forward. And there was a time, I think it was last year, that somebody talked about selling their kidneys. Now, it is against the law here in Kenya, it is against the law worldwide as well, that nobody should traffic organs or buy or sell organs, including kidneys. So it is a big no, and please do not sell your kidneys, and do not offer to sell your kidneys as well, because it can land you on the wrong side of the law. And if anybody approaches you that they want to buy your kidneys, please let the relevant authorities know as well.
Is this the reason why you do not do transplants for people who are not related?
Exactly. So there would be patients who would be taken advantage of, and this has happened in other countries. So we have learned from that as well. So especially those people who are in the poor socioeconomic status group, they can be exploited, and it has happened in the other countries. So we do know that this can happen, and this is the reason why, until we get very strict rules and regulations and laws in place, currently we are not doing the non-related living donor transplants.
All right. What if once I die, I know a lot of people are usually curious, can I donate my organs? Well, is that acceptable in the country?
So currently we are working on the law for cadaveric organ transplantation, especially for the kidney transplants, because this is the field that is very robust here in Kenya. But so far there is no law in place, so that is why we do not do cadaveric transplants as yet. But as the Kenya Renal Association, together with the Ministry of Health and the other government sector, we are actually working towards coming up with a bill to allow us now to do the cadaveric transplants, but that will take some time, because you need to have very strong regulatory frameworks in place.
Right. Let's just talk about the transplant patients who already had their transplants before the COVID-19 happened. Is their care any different?
So we always advise our transplant patients and our kidney patients that they have to be extra careful. Of course, what the government has always emphasized on in this COVID era about social distancing, making sure that you wear a mask, making sure that you always sanitize your hands, try as much as possible to limit going out, I mean, it's very difficult, but especially for a transplant patient, it's very, very important, because as I mentioned earlier, if you do get COVID infection and you're a transplant patient, the infections tend to be a bit more severe. So in case if you're a transplant patient and if you develop a fever, or if you develop a cough, or if you develop difficulty in breathing, please consult your nephrologist immediately so that they can advise you on what to do and where to come and be assessed, and try to keep these measures in place so that you avoid getting any infections.
All right. Maybe your last remarks on this one for people who are either suffering from kidney disease or just are taking care of people who have kidney disease. If you were to talk to that group of people, what would your remarks be?
For those people who are taking care of patients who are transplanted and patients who are kidney patients, so these are our normal patients, normal people. You always have to make sure that you protect these patients, the transplant patients. You have to make sure that you protect these patients with kidney disease as well. So the onus is also on us as well to make sure that we do not transmit any infections to them. We also need to do our part, be responsible citizens as well, wear our masks all the time when we are going out or meeting people, make sure that we maintain social distancing, make sure that we always sanitize our hands all the time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys, Dr. Hussein Baga has been giving us wisdom nuggets and insights into kidney disease. Remember, next week we will also have some interesting topics on the human body, and that's all the time that we had today for Body Garage. My name is Tracy Mukami. See you next week.